Ever wonder how we discovered Earth's place in the Milky Way? As of right now, we know that Earth is situated in one of the galaxy's outer spiral arms. However, this knowledge is not as ancient as you may believe. It has been an adventure to get to this point, where we have finally figured out where we fit into the galaxy and the universe. It is a quest to comprehend our cosmic surrounds. To discover the mysteries of the skies, astronomers have constructed ever more advanced instruments. For their findings, several researchers even suffered extreme torture and were imprisoned. The idea that Earth is merely a small dot in a cosmos with some 100 billion stars is odd. Our Earth is situated at the outer edge of the Milky Way, or, more accurately, very near the edge in one of the four spiral arms, as we now know. People were unaware of this only a few hundred years ago. No one knew exactly what stars were, and they believed that the Earth was the center of the cosmos. The Church controlled the worldview for a long time. Only aristocrats or scientists chosen by the Church were permitted to address such issues. These people were frequently assigned to defend particular viewpoints rather than conducting free inquiry. They had to anticipate severe penalties if others appeared and abruptly made claims that went beyond these standards. For instance, Galileo Galilei, whose name practically every youngster knows and who is now regarded as a historical superstar, experienced this. Few people are aware of the extent to which Galileo faced opposition from the Church and other authorities during his era. William Herschel enjoyed it more throughout his life. More people were aware of the astronomer. Herschel was fortunate to conduct his studies in the late 1700s, when the Renaissance had brought ancient concepts back into the public mind. The Church's knowledge was at least as well known as that created by figures like Hipparchus, Aristotle, and Ptolemy. The knowledge gathered by people who saw the sky with the naked eye or crude telescopes thousands of years ago is, in theory, still the foundation of our natural sciences today. A man by the name of Democritus had already recognized that the spots of light in the sky were other suns in the 4th century BCE. Ironically, this Democritus was also aware that atoms are the tiny units that make up matter. We can only grin today at the way this man learned. People continued to believe for a long time that a god had placed the light spots in the night sky there. We have only been convinced that we are part of a galaxy with many other suns since the 1920s, and even more startlingly, that our galaxy is not the only one. The science of celestial mechanics is amazing. For an instant, picture common folks gazing up at the sky hundreds of millions of years ago. During the day, they noticed a dazzling white disk traveling across the sky. Periodically, another shape joined this, appearing as a crescent at times, semicircular at others, and then vanishing entirely for a spell. Points of light emerged in the sky as night fell, and in a world free of light pollution, they must have resembled a sea of fireflies. People started to notice these changes all throughout the world. They were aware of the sun's phases, the moon's cycles, and the stars' varying positions in the night sky. People who were captivated by these celestial events created religions around them, constructed buildings like Stonehenge, and gradually advanced science to investigate the relationships between processes in the sky and those on Earth. Since Columbus's voyage to America, we have been aware that the Earth is not flat. Columbus had to face severe insults, humiliation from the Church and his peers, and fear for his life before he could demonstrate this, though. A same fate befell Galileo Galilei in the 16th century. He found Jupiter's 4 largest moons, among other things, and came to the conclusion that the Earth was probably not the center of the universe. To stop him from spreading his heretical beliefs, the fervent scientist was put under house arrest, subjected to multiple interrogations, and required to turn over his work equipment. Giordano Bruno, a contemporary and fellow countryman, openly proclaimed that stars might be far-off suns with their own planetary systems and that the universe was endless. He was subjected to interrogation, torture, and eventually death at the stake because of his bravery and knowledge. For a long time, only the courageous or those with the special favor of lords may pursue science. Compared to Bruno and Galileo, William Herschel had better beginning circumstances. Herschel, who was born in Germany, gained the admiration of English nobles as a musician before becoming a significant astronomer and scientist. It's interesting to remember that in ancient days, astronomy and music were closely related. Aristotle and other researchers asserted that the universe made noises, and some even thought that this music of the spheres was a means of transmitting information throughout the universe. In 1781, Herschel was successful in finding the planet Uranus. He gained a lot of support for his additional study as a result, propelling him into the elite group of astronomers of his era. Herschel constructed some of the greatest telescopes of his era, in addition to being an exceptionally gifted musician and astronomer. In 1789, he finished a 40-foot reflector telescope with a 1.2-meter mirror, which was his ultimate achievement. Long into the 19th century, it was the biggest telescope in the world. Herschel made the first mapping of the night sky's stars with this telescope. He separated the night sky into about 600 zones to get a sense of the astounding quantity of stars. But at the time, even Herschel was unsure about the precise definition of stars. Despite the dearth of proof, Einstein and other scientists thought that stars were other suns with planets. Herschel concluded that humans are most likely a part of the disc-shaped structure that he discovered through his enumeration of all the stars. This map represented a major breakthrough in our knowledge of our galaxy's structure. But Herschel was not without error. His ignorance of interstellar dust, which obscures starlight and darkens the galaxy's core, was a result of the telescope's poor capacity at the time. He therefore believed that there were less stars in the Milky Way center than there actually are. Additionally, his estimation of Earth's location within the structure was inaccurate. He believed that we were at the center of the disk, which is untrue. It took us nearly a century to realize that we are but a tiny portion of a galaxy, which is only one of millions. When the Milky Way was recognized as a galaxy in the 1920s, this startling discovery was made. Scientists still had to believe that the Milky Way was the entire cosmos till that point. At the start of the 20th century, a new generation of telescopes made this achievement possible. While working at Harvard College Observatory, Henrietta Swan-Leavitt, an American astronomer, made a significant discovery. She discovered a clear correlation between the brightness and pulsation period of Cepheids, a class of pulsating stars. For the first time, astronomers were able to calculate the distances to far-off stars and galaxies thanks to this discovery, which is now known as Leavitt's law. Astronomers like Edwin Hubble and Harlow Shapley were able to build upon Leavitt's discoveries. Shapley, who was employed at the Mount Wilson Observatory, calculated the Milky Way's size and shape by utilizing the locations of globular clusters. He demonstrated how far from the galaxy's center our solar system is. In 1923, Edwin Hubble, who was also at Mount Wilson Observatory, confirmed that the Andromeda Nebula was a separate galaxy from the Milky Way by observing Cepheids in the region. This discovery, which he published in 1926, completely changed our conception of the cosmos. The astounding discovery of the universe's true size was made possible by Hubble's work. Shapley not only identified that we are near the Milky Way's edge, but he also realized that the galaxy's center is located toward the constellation Sagittarius. He was already pretty sure that the distance between Earth and the core was between 25,000 and 30,000 light-years. Our location in the Milky Way was finally determined by the European Space Agency's Gaia satellite. According to Gaia, our solar system is situated in the Milky Way's Orion arm, nearly precisely 26,000 light-years from the galactic center. This is our most accurate galactic address calculation to date. Since its launch in 2013, Gaia has accurately measured the locations, distances, and motions of more than 1 billion stars to produce a comprehensive three-dimensional image of the Milky Way. It is difficult to observe the galaxy we are in, as you may imagine. From their remote location, researchers in the Andromeda Galaxy would have a far greater understanding of the structure and form of the Milky Way. Consequently, our knowledge of other galaxies is greater than that of our own. As a result, the majority of depictions of the Milky Way are either artistic interpretations or composite views made from simulations and pieces. Join us for every new video by clicking subscribe right now.